In this video, I would like to discuss the three miracles of science. What I mean by this, if you've listened to Terence McKenna, one of the things he makes a statement about and concerning science was that they need at least one miracle, i.e. the Big Bang, and then can take it from there. My opinion is that they actually need three. I do concur with Terence McKenna's first observation that yes, they need that first miracle, the creation of the universe. So the Big Bang is their first miracle. I do have some opinions about the Big Bang theory itself as a scientist and doing some study under it. Yes, there is evidence and various things that show that theory to possibly be the correct one, but there are other theories out there that do correlate with different ideas. One of them, which I actually looked into and believe may have some truth to it, is called the lazy light theory. In this one, light as it travels over time slowly loses some of its energy, which means it would redshift slowly downward in frequency. What this would do is that the longer light was in circulation in space, the more redshift it would have, which would make things far, far away look like they were traveling away from us, because the speed of those things is measured by a Doppler effect and the redshift. So what we get on Earth are only light waves. That's all we have to measure and look at our universe. And these light waves, if they are going through this lazy light phenomenon, would appear, the farther you look out, the faster it's moving away from us, or it is moving away from us. So, and this indeed appears what it looks like. Here it comes to the expansion of the universe, and it's expanding and continuing faster. And this theory does seem to actually fit a little bit better in those contexts. There's another reason why I look at this as a plausible theory, and that is because one of the theories of the Big Bang is predominantly focused on the background radiation. The cosmic background radiation is a low frequency within the lower microwave band that pretty much permeates all of space, though it is not exactly homogeneous. The theory is that that is the radiation left over from the Big Bang, the afterglow. If the idea that light slowly diminished its energy over time, then it would seem to fit. Because at the Big Bang, that energy would have been extremely hot, very high energy, gamma rays, X-rays, and if light did not diminish, then you would still see the same wavelength of light, in the sense that if it was from the Big Bang and the afterglow. Now the argument for this is that, well, that was at the beginning of the universe, and the expansion of that spread out that wave. Well, in that case, my logic also states that if the universe is expanding, then if you're looking billions of years into the past at a galaxy far away, you have to take that expansion into consideration as well when you're looking at the light, which means that it too has lowered a frequency and would appear to be moving away simply from this expansion theory. If they do believe that the background radiation is as low as it is because of the universe expansion, then I certainly hope they've taken the expansion of the universe into account when they look at the light waves coming from these faraway galactic objects and calculating the distance and speed that they are going away from us. So that is the first miracle, and that one agrees with Terence McKenna. Other than that, I do have two other miracles that I add into the mix here. The first of that miracle is being life. I have studied biology, and if you even know half of the chemistry that is going on and all of the properties within just a single cell, to say that one formed by a pool of amino acids and various other protoplasmic type environments is more than a little far-fetched. In this, what I mean is, if you know the chemistry of a cell, you have your basic DNA, which is the molecule which gives the instructions for making the proteins, the enzymes, and everything else that makes the cell operate. But there's some problems if, say, you were in a pool where there were enough amino acids and DNA suddenly, well, it combined itself and made something that could have been life. The problem you have is that you need now the enzyme which is going to split that into RNA to create the various proteins to create the enzyme that actually keep the system working. Now, by a far chance, the difficulty of that happening by chance, if you know the structure of just a single cell, and it would have to take the structure of a cell to start this, the improbability of that is beyond my calculation. Now let's say that perchance a cellular structure did appear in that and had all of the proper ingredients to start running. That single cell would have to have a continuous chain all the way to you. What that means is that during that cell it would never stop from its continuation of its life in division all the way to all life forms on the earth. Unless, of course, it happened in multiple pools and multiple times, multiple cells started to develop that gave rise and gave a better chance, it would have to start with at least some that continued the process of reproduction and reproducing itself all the way to us. Now, if that was the case in a pool of slime of primordial goo, then we should be able to see it now, because in the cosmic terms of things, it didn't take as long as, well, the probabilities show that it should, if it was by chance, in the sense that in the laboratory we were to be able to create that type of environment, and yes, we did get some amino acids, but floating amino acids are nowhere close to a life, or even a cellular structure, which is so complex in itself, and then that cellular structure would have to live all the way to us. Then we add another few hiccups to the system. One is that cellular structure, in order to continue on, would need energy and materials. Now, there are plenty of materials around. The energy source, how did it use that? Well, if we think of the first cells that were probably green algae, then you have photosynthesis taking place. And again, if this happened at a random chance, that photosynthesis would have been one of the molecules that took place to activate the cells, start the process. Calculations of this are beyond just imagination. Some people say no, life came from a meteor and it was from outer space. It does not alleviate the problem that somewhere a cell developed, whether in space, whether on Earth, or whether on some other planet. So that's the second miracle we have that science can't really, in my terms, statistically say is feasible. The last one we have brings us all the way to today, which is that by chance those cells with their various properties continue to evolve into the state of a being that was us, human, and that arising from atomic structure and molecules, chemical reactions that these cells are in the basic terms, and into a structure of neurochemical reactions created something called consciousness, which is the self-aware you and I that we are. To me, this is, yes, one of the miracles of science, since we are dealing with something that is basic matter to rise to a consciousness level that is self-aware. I don't care how diluted those particular cells and chemical reactions might be, it would just not arise to something of the self-aware beings that we are. If that were the case, then we could probably make a neural network within a structural computer system to be truly self-aware and conscious. And although that may happen someday, I do not believe that it is just the structure of atoms that do it. So that's my 2 cents on the various miracles that have been put forth by science, as well as a couple of comments I have on my own. Thank you.